You kind of stole the movie for me in this. And I think part of it is just seeing Drax. He's kind of the most comfortable member of this group now.
I think he's found a certain contentment with his new family. He's definitely happy. I think he's learning to live and love again. You know, I think there's just a certain a glimmer of happiness in Drax's eyes again.
Does it feel different making it than the first one?
Oh, completely different. And I think it's more of a comfort level with me. I think I've just, you know, I've come a long way as a performer, but also I think being so comfortable with my cast members and my director, it's less stress, much easier. And also I think because James wrote specifically for me, it just made the lines were easier to deliver, and it was just more me. But I think just overall, I think just more comfort.
There's something great about Drax's sense of, or the sense of humor we get from Drax, because it's like nothing else out there.
Right. And I think that, again, I can't take any credit for it. It's all James Gunn. I'm really just, you know, I'm kind of his muse. I'm his vehicle. You know, he writes it down, I say it, and that's it.
When it came time to begin work on the sequel, were you given the full script, or were you teased details as it built up?
No, I was given the full script, and I feel awful saying this, but because I was expecting them to go a different direction with Drax, I thought he was going to be more true to comic book Drax. I thought he was going to be more of a badass, more of the destroyer, and it went a completely different route. It was much more of a comedy role, so I was a little disappointed at first. And I also, because I read it, and because I don't really find myself funny, so when I read it and I'm reading it, and it just wasn't very funny to me. And I actually didn't realize how funny it was until we all sat down and did our first table read. And then I found myself not only laughing out loud, but when I would deliver my lines, and again, just not finding myself funny, but other people would be laughing out loud. So that's kind of when I realized how great the script was.
One of the things I realized when the trailers started for the sequel was when the first film came out, I was excited just because it was a Marvel movie, but now every one of these characters I'm excited to see on the screen.
Yeah.
Is it different for you knowing that the audience knows who Drax is now?
It's, yeah, it's different in a way that it's just easier. I mean, we don't have to, you know, make the introduction. You know, people are familiar with these characters. Not only are they familiar with the characters, but they've embraced them. They've kind of fallen in love with the characters. So there's a bit of an emotional attachment already. So it makes things much easier. You don't have to tell as much of the backstory. They know what you're going through. They know your heartbreak, and they can relate to it. So it's a bit easier. So we actually kind of, you know, we had the luxury of hitting the ground running on this film.
Does James Gunn feel like a different director on this one, or is it very similar?
No, he's the same guy. He's the same guy, and although like the settings were different, obviously the first one we shot in London, this one's in Atlanta, the settings were different. It was very much, he just has a certain way of doing things, and it was the same thing. You know, a lot of times a lot of improv on this one as well, and a lot of stuff that'll fly in James' sick, twisted head right, you know, at the last minute, and he'll just yell out. But it was kind of, I just felt comfortable. It was kind of the same. You know?
When you see the final cut, is it surprising to see what jokes ended up making it?
It is. It's, you know, and it's weird because as we were watching a lot of the trailers come out, you know, the trailers are coming out over the months. A lot of the stuff that were coming out in the trailers, you know, I thought was going to be in the film. And then I realized that a lot of the stuff, they were just kind of outtakes. There were a bunch of outtakes that actually didn't make in the film. But then that makes you go back and really realize how much, you know, stuff that, you know, that was some of the stuff that James was saying, say this, now say that. And it was actually great stuff and could easily be in the film. But, you know, actually seeing the final version and how brilliant it is, you realize how much stuff that, you know, I mean, just didn't even make it, but it was just also just amazing, funny, hysterical stuff.
Do you get any input into where you want to see Drax go?
I have input in everything. I always have input. I mean, they've always given us, you know, that liberty. But whether they take the input or not is no, I don't. You know, obviously, don't make any final decisions. But yeah, they always, and especially James, really encourages input for your character.